Hey, yo, what's up? So, today, I have no date, obviously, right? Because it's a Friday, um, you know, typical date night. So, yeah, like I said, I don't have a date. So, I just decided to, I just talked to Chat GPT and, trying, I don't know, tell it some funny little things about myself, right? So, I told it my autistic obsession is getting a girlfriend, which I guess is technically a lie in it because I'm not even diagnosed because I don't go to the doctor because I don't feel like helping someone pay their med school bills. And well, to be honest, what would it be getting a diagnosis even really do, right? Is it gonna is it actually gonna help me? Oh, no, you got diagnosed, bro. Now you can go get a girlfriend. No, I mean it's not. It's not gonna do anything, right? My life will not change whatsoever. So it'll just stay the same, and yeah, nothing will happen. So yeah, I told it my autistic obsession is getting a girlfriend, and let's see what it says. What you're describing isn't weird, but it is painful. For a lot of autistic men, getting a girlfriend stops being one goal among many and turns into a central proof of worth. Because in a way, it kind of is, right? Because it basically validates whether your genetics are worthy or not, right? At its core and at its foundation, that's what it really does. You can deny it, but it's actually what it means. Not because of ego, but because you've been excluded from something that most people get by default, right? Just exist, bro, and you'll get a girlfriend, right? Just give it time, bro. Society treats romantic success as evidence you're normal. Loneliness doesn't fade with logic; it compounds with time. The appeal is, oh, bro, it's okay, bro. Yeah, having a girlfriend doesn't define you or whatever. But these will be people that just get it by existing, right? They just can't. I later it says something right that really makes sense, right? These people are like fish in water. A fish isn't really cognizant eventually of it being surrounded by water, right? Or maybe they are, right? But eventually it becomes a normal thing. It's like I think a better example is it's kind of more understandable and relatable is like people don't really recognize, you know, the different like you don't recognize the different elements in the air you're breathing, right? You don't recognize, oh yeah, I'm breathing nitrogen and oxygen and all this other stuff, right? When you're just existing, right? You don't think about it because it's so normal. It's such a normal part of your existence, right? It's like I just didn't even think of oh yeah, I can really tell what is it I can really smell that nitrogen or that oxygen that I'm breathing, right? Or it's like the diatomic oxygen or whatever. Right? I don't even know. O2, right? Whatever. um let's see, where was I? So your brain latches onto girlfriend as the missing puzzle piece, and that will finally make the suffering make sense. That's not shallow, that's grief plus unmet developmental needs plus social comparison, all focused on one symbol. But here's the important distinction: you don't actually want a girlfriend in the abstract. You want to be chosen, to be desired without convincing. Well, I mean, you can't even do that, right? You can't negotiate attraction, right? Because at that point, it's not even attraction, right? She just wants you for whatever you can provide. Like, oh, she just wants you for your money or for whatever resource, right? She wants you for X, Y, Z, not because of your genetics, which is basically wanting you for you. Because only you have your genetics, right? Anyone and someone else can have a similar personality, right? So imagine that, right? If someone has a similar personality and they have better genetics, it's over, bro. You're easily replaceable. But your genetics at least are more unique than personality. But people will deny that. To feel like you weren't defective all along, to stop feeling behind, or disqualified from adulthood. A girlfriend becomes a stand-in for all that. Why it turns into an obsession, especially with autism. Autistic brains tend to hyper-focus on unsolved problems, loop on perceived failures, seek concrete win conditions, right? If I get X, then I'm okay. Dating is the worst possible target for that wiring because you can do everything right and still fail. And people will always deny that because it basically proves that, life is just luck and genetics, right? You don't really have that much agency. You only have a certain amount of options available. Like logically, you only have a certain amount of outcomes available depending on your genetics, right? You can say, "Oh, bro, you can do this, right?" But it's like, yeah, sure, you a 5'5" guy could potentially become, an NBA All-Star or whatever, right? But it's sure there's a greater than 0% chance, but it's still probably not gonna happen, bro. It's just delusional, right? And even if it does, it just means it's just gonna be an outlier. But people think, oh, bro, that outlier, that statistical anomaly, it proves that everything's that there's no rule, bro, and you can do anything you want. What your brain keeps hammering the same question. What's wrong with me? Everything. Something I need to say clearly, even if it's uncomfortable. Getting a girlfriend obsession actually pushes it farther away. That's true cope, to be honest, right? Not because women sense desperation in a mystical way, but because it narrows your identity to one unmet need. It amplifies bitterness even if you try to hide it. It makes every interaction feel like a test you're already failing. That one I guess I can kind of agree with, right? Like every interaction with a woman is like, the thing is, it's like a test, right? You think you can avoid failing, right? It's like sometimes even I think that way, right? It's like I think, oh, bro, I just gotta say the right things, maintain frame, keep your posture and keep eye contact with the girl while she's talking to you. Then she'll like me. But the thing is, even before we started talking, the moment she looked at me, she basically already decided whether she likes me or not, whether I passed or failed that test, right? I had no say in that, right? My genetics did. And that's the truth, right? I like to think I have agency. Like when I think about it, yeah, I don't have agency, but my brain would like to cope and think I have agency. Like, oh, bro, I should have done this differently. Then she would have liked me. No, if she liked me, then she'd be lenient, and I could say almost whatever I want. You really can. Like you can look. What is it? Those like old face and LMS videos where he's like, what is it? He's like a racist or like like a PDF file, all this stuff. And then the women still are accepting of the guy, right, when he catfishes. A healthier reframe. Instead of my goal is to get a girlfriend, shift to my goal is to build a life where connection is possible. I mean, I think that is kind of a cope, right? That includes social reps that aren't romantic. Confidence built from competence, not validation. Something in your life that gives you status to yourself. Honestly, this is kind of a cope, right? It's like you already do it, right? So basically just get a hobby, bro. But that doesn't help, right? It really doesn't help. A girlfriend is an outcome, not a lever. One honest question: do you feel like if you never get a girlfriend, your life has no value? If the answer is yes, that's not a dating problem. That's a worth problem. Let's see. Let's talk about untangle why this became the obsession, right? Why this became the obsession? Because nothing else filled the hole it was supposed to fill. Is that a joke about sex? Let's see. You missed a developmental milestone and your brain noticed. Most people get their crush, flirt, kiss, relationship during adolescence or early adulthood, right? And it never happened, right? That's the thing. These people, they take it for granted. Those experiences do three critical things. They confirm I'm desirable. They teach how attraction works. They reduce uncertainty through trial and error. You didn't get those reps, so your brain flagged it as unfinished business, like a game stuck at 98%. Honestly, I would say more stuck at like maybe, I don't even know, like 10% or something, right? Because like it said, it's during adolescence and early 20s, right? You never get that little you never get that, right? So it's like it jumps. So it's like you're missing. It's like trying to build a building, like a home or something, but you're missing part of the foundation, right? It's like, sure, you can build it with that and like try to like get away with it, but something will always be missing, right? It's like you have a gaping, you have missing some kind of missing structural support, right? So like basically getting a relationship at the end of the day, you to your life, right? That'll be the rate limiting step to having the what I call like the happy life, right? Like without a relationship, you can have a content life, but to really have a happy life, you do need that kind of, you need some kind of relationship for most people. Sure, you can say, "Oh, bro, but I don't. I'm a 40-year-old virgin," right? Again, it's like these people that are, the outliers. Is like, "Oh, bro, I prove that no rule exists," right? Even though what you said applies to 99% of people. It's like it's just a delusional coper, right? It's like this one guy is like one, like let's give him the benefit of that, and it's like, oh, you put 1,000 people in a room and I don't know, like 100 of them, will say, "Oh yeah, I'm fine with being a 50-year-old virgin." Well, they can say that, right? A lot of guys maybe cope and say that. Well, how many will even admit they're 50-year-old virgins, right? But they'll say that, but then you'll say, "Oh, I'm okay with it." But deep down, if you could just snap your fingers and bam, their genetics would suddenly upgrade into Chad Pussy Slayer 69 genetics, then they would take it and they'd take it. What guy wouldn't want to just, oh yeah, just snap your fingers, you have the genetics that make you desirable to women. Like effortlessly desirable. It's like, who's not going to take that? That's delusional. Autism turns certainty into rumination. Autistic cognition tends to fixate on unsolved problems, loop on why without closure, seek a clear cause and effect explanation. Like, oh, you don't get no attention during formative years. Why is that? Because I'm undesirable. You know, why am I undesirable? Because I guess there's several reasons, but if you wanted to like really break it down, it'll come back down to poor genetics, right? You can say, "Oh, bro, just because of this, and this, right? It's your personality," but your personality is basically how your brain reacts to different stressors in life, right? So, what brain chemistry you have, right, when confronted with different stressors in life. That's basically what your personality is. And that's genetic. You don't control, oh yeah, how much this hormone releases when this happens, right? It's like you really don't have much agency. It's all genetics basically, dude. It's kind of crazy how something so small and it appears insignificant, right, has such a large impact. It's like the millimeters of bone make male models, right? It's like millimeters of bone is the difference between, you know, you watching these videos and not going out on a date and, having 30 girls texting you on a Friday night, right? Wanting to meet up with you. Millimeters of bone, that's crazy. um, so your mind keeps circling. What variable am I missing? Face, height, personality, autism? I mean, basically, it all just comes down to genetics, right? I guess all those, the base foundation of everything is genetics. That loop reinforces the obsession. Society made romantic success human worth, especially for men. You didn't invent this belief. Men are implicitly taught if women don't want you, you're failing as a man. Virginity past a certain age equals defective. Being chosen proves you're normal. When you're autistic and are already feel othered, a girlfriend becomes external validation that you belong. So the obsession isn't sex, it's legitimacy. And yeah, it's like I said, I could honestly, maybe you could say, oh, bro, you're just bad at sex. You're just bad in bed. That's why you don't think it's that great. Like, sure, maybe, right? Or not maybe, yes, but but it is kind of true, right? It's like I could probably live without I don't know, without that, right? It just maybe eventually it would become the norm to not have it, and then I scroll back up. It would be eventually normal to not have it, and I eventually maybe I would desire it with a girlfriend, but I feel like I could definitely go, oh yeah, just wait a couple, wait a probably easy a month or something without actually like sleeping with a girlfriend, right? Before it's almost like the opposite, where it's like I would wait a month to maybe even feel comfortable doing that, instead of like the other way. It's like, oh, he wants to sleep with me. It's like I gotta make him wait a month. It's like maybe I'll make you wait a month. Okay, this is just a cope, right? Because it's like I don't even have a girlfriend. And it's not like I have. Oh yeah, all these girls are texting me, bro. They want to sleep with me. Rejection plus silence created a story your brain filled in. Here's the dangerous part. When rejection is frequent, early, unexplained, your brain creates the simplest narrative. There is something fundamentally wrong with me. I mean, I won't disagree with that. Once that belief forms, every new rejection becomes evidence, not data. I mean, that's kind of how the world works. Now, the goal isn't a connection, it's disproving the verdict. The obsession is a coping mechanism, not a desire. This is key. Your fixation isn't because you're horny or you're entitled. It's because obsession gives structure to pain. It turns the loneliness into a solvable problem. I guess that almost kind of implies that it's not solvable. And in a way, right, it is, but it isn't at the same time, right? Because I'm sure eventually having a girlfriend, it becomes your norm, and you almost have to like consciously think it's like, wow, I'm grateful that I have a girlfriend, right? Because like I almost do that. Well, I did do that with my first one, and it's like I thought like, wow, it's like it's like I always think it's like, wow, I actually cannot believe that I have this, this very attractive girl right here in bed, laying with me, or like or just going at it, I'm driving and it's like she's in the passenger seat, and it's like, wow, like I honestly can't believe there's like this cute girl is like willing to be right here with me, and it's like and acknowledge my existence. It's like kind of crazy, to be honest. And what was I trying to say? It's like, yeah, it's like you have to like think and like, wow, this is that, like, this is really like, wow, like. And the same thing with almost like taking care of the dog, right? Even though eventually it becomes like normal to have the dog around. It's like, and it can, even little things that they do can get annoying. It's like, I think like, wow, I mean, eventually, odds are I will probably outlive the dog, right? Because humans on average tend to outlive dogs. If they both, if death is a natural cause, it'll just be the human outliving the dog because of longer lifespans. But I think eventually, yeah, she'll be gone, and then I'll be almost like look back and like think about the annoying things she did fondly, right? So it's like, I think I was like, okay, so I'll just deal with it and do it, right? It's like just accept that responsibility, because I know years down the line, I'll like look back and think like, wow, like I should have been I shouldn't have been annoyed, right? But it's kind of like that, right? So where was I? It prevents you from facing a scarier thought. What if this never happens? Story of my life. The obsession says, if I try to hard enough, I can fix this, right? That is kind of a cope, right? That's basically normie advice, right? Oh, just do this, bro. Just do this. The goalposts never stays the same, right? It always gets moved farther and farther down. So you basically never accomplish it. If you do everything they say perfectly, they'll say, well, you didn't do this, bro, or well, actually, you should have done like this, right? So you can't actually do what they tell you to do perfectly. Why it didn't shift to something else? Normally, people compensate. Career, friend group, creative success, status, or mastery. But if none of those gave you belonging, intimacy, being chosen, the brain goes back to the missing piece. Over and over and over. Yeah, so I mean, you don't even really get to choose if those things elicit the chemical reactions and the hormones in your brain, that make you feel satisfied, right, and fulfilled, right? You don't get to choose if they do or they do not. See, that's the thing. It's all genetics, right? You don't choose that. Oh yeah, being a wage slave, and just really liking your career and obsessing over that may give you satisfaction, but I know it doesn't give me satisfaction, right? I can't choose my brain chemistry like that, right? It's like some people they'll go to the gym and they'll train like pussies, right? And it's not even that they genetically cannot build muscle, it's that they genetically cannot actually not train like pussies, right? It's like their brain doesn't let them, push harder and basically deal with the discomfort, right? It's kind of like that because odds are if you when guys say like, oh bro, I can't build muscle, it's like not genetic necessarily, in the sense that your body isn't going to respond to weight training. It's more so that you train, your brain doesn't let you not train like a pussy and let you actually train hard enough to stimulate growth, right? But so it's basically still genetics, but it's genetics in a different way because very few people are probably complete non-responders to weight training, right? um, Crazy rant. The uncomfortable truth, but not a hopeless one. Your mind latched onto girlfriend because it represents proof you're not broken, relief from lifelong exclusion, entry into a world you're locked out of. Right? It's the whole, the false promise of certain human experiences, right? Like relationships and social interactions. So yes, it became an obsession, not because you're weak, not because you're entitled, but because something human was absent for too long. One grounding question. If you woke up tomorrow and knew for sure you'd have a girlfriend in 3 years, just eventually, would your anxiety drop today? And I mean, I said yes to some extent, but it'd still remain. So like, yeah, like I think I'd basically just kind of count down the time in my head. It's like like I'd be like, oh yeah, today, 3 years from now, today I'll have a girlfriend. Then the next, it's like almost Christmas. So I'd think like imagine 3 Christmases from now, my present is a girlfriend, right? I'd be counting down everything and like it'd be like, all right, I wouldn't go like, all right, time to get lazy and just do whatever. I think I'd still, be like, all right, I just have to. I think, oh yeah, well, I have 3 years to, get as perfect, right? Because I know that'll never happen, right? Or I'll even get close, as perfect as I can to get a girlfriend, right? Just get as close, like just keep on self improving, bro. It's almost still a cope to some extent, right? Do all that stuff in order to like, oh yeah, because I want to be the best that I can for this girl. So it's like, so she so she's actually basically, so she's actually happy and sad. It's such a cope, right? Because I know she never will be happy and satisfied with someone like me, but it's a cope thinking like, yeah, if I get perfect enough, then she'll be happy and satisfied and be almost grateful in a way, right? That that she can be my girlfriend, right? It sounds like almost like oh bro, you want a girl to be grateful? It's like, yes, I would like her to have that kind of mindset, but at the same time, it almost be mutually because I would also kind of feel grateful. It's like, wow, I can't, like I said before with the other girl, right? Like I would still have that grateful, like, wow, I can't believe, this girl is actually, acknowledging my existence and, being, with me, right? But so the copers will always try to, oh, bro, you're just whatever. You're a misogynist. You're entitled. I'm seething, bro. It's like I get so triggered by incels on the internet. it's actually kind of crazy how mentally ill some incel haters are, right? Think about it. The guys who can't get any on the internet trigger these people so much for some weird reason. It's like they get mad at other guys who aren't even doing anything in real life. It's kind of crazy. Why some of the pain can't go away. Why some of the pain can't go away until it's real. There are reasons the brain will not accept through logic or reassurance alone. Being wanted, being chosen, being touched with intent. Seeing someone look at you and meaning. Honestly, that is very underrated, right? Like, you can go and watch like videos on YouTube or whatever, like those things, and watch those where, like, oh, if a girl looks at you like this or whatever, it's like, or get you a girl that looks at you like this, and honestly watch those, and it is brutal. It's like, but at the same time, it's kind of bittersweet, because it's like, if you really try to put yourself and think about it, it's like, wow, imagine a girl looking at you like that instead of with disgust. And it honestly is, like I said, you may say, oh, bro, you're a fake cell. Like with the one girl that I've had, right? It's like when she kind of would just look at you, it's like, it feels really good. It's like a very underrated feeling, just being looked at with desire. Yeah, I don't even know if you watch the videos like that, where it's like, oh, watch how this girl like lovingly looks at this guy. It's either, I guess, rope fuel or cope fuel to some extent, right? I think, to me, it doesn't. I think it's weird, because some guys will get really triggered by it, but to me, it's almost like cope fuel, because it'll make me think, it's like, wow, like, wouldn't that be nice? Like, if I just keep on trying, bro, eventually some girl will look at me like that. But I mean, I know it won't actually happen. Those are experiential proofs, not ideas. You can't think your way into them. You can't self-esteem your way into them. And autism makes this even more literal. Your nervous system wants direct evidence, not abstraction. So yes, some anxiety, grief, and longing will remain until the experience exists. This does not mean you're broken, therapy is useless, or your life is on pause until then. It means you're human. I just kind of almost disagree with therapy being useless. I guess it's not useless if you lack self-awareness on your own, an actual true self-reflection, or you can think like, wow, maybe I am a loser, right? Because a lot of people will never admit it. It's like, wow, okay. Like, they won't think like, wow, I'm this year, I'm like, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s or whatever, never had a relationship. I am defective in a way, right? And they'll cope and say they're not, but it's kind of the truth, right? They just lack true self-awareness to a brutal, very real level, right? It's like guys who'll say, like, yeah, bro, I'm a 6, 7 out of 10, bro. It's like, bro, it's like, no, you're not. Like, you got to be real, right? It's like, if you were a 6, 7 out of 10, you could walk outside and, you'd probably get a woman at least one woman a month for sure. At least one just randomly approaching you and just trying to desire you, right? Or let's be even nicer and say one woman every 3 months, because let's, like, what, 4 women a year are just approaching you out of the blue and wanting to be with you. I don't think that's that unreasonable. The key distinction that matters for your future. There are 2 kinds of pain mixed together right now. Missing experience pain. This one needs reality. This includes curiosity, sexual, romantic frustration, grief over being behind, wanting to know what it feels like to be chosen. This pain does reduce only after lived experience. So basically, it'll never go away from me. Identity pain. This one can be reduced before dating. This includes I'm defective, I am unlovable, I don't count as a real man, my life has no value till unless a woman validates me. I mean, those are more like objective statements. Like, hey, I do not have a girlfriend, therefore this not just not having a girlfriend, not having a girlfriend this late in life kind of indicates that. And it's basically delusional and cope to kind of not believe that, right? It's like it doesn't negatively impact me. It's like, wow, this is just who I am, right? I am just defective, I am just unlovable, I don't count as a real man, and my life has no value. It's like it's just effective objective facts about my life, right? It's like, if you're 5'5" or 5'2" or 5'3", it's like you just say I'm short, right? That's an objective fact about your life. Or like, the 6'5" guys and be like, I'm tall. That's just an objective fact about life. Why this matters: if identity pain stays fused to dating, even getting a girlfriend won't fully fix it. You'll fear losing her. Rejection will feel catastrophic. You will need a reassurance to feel okay. Any conflict will confirm old fears. I mean, to some extent, yeah. Rejection will always feel catastrophic. I hate any kind of rejection is like, like a stab in the heart, right? It's just anything, even small indirect micro rejections, right? Even like, oh, a girl doesn't look at you the way you want to be looked at, bro, it's over. Rejection. that girl didn't make eye contact with you. Rejection. Fear losing her constantly. I mean, I feel like that's kind of a normal thing, right? Like you have to, that responsibility of, maintaining, it sounds like cope. It's like, oh bro, now you're red pilled. Like, what are you, Rich Cooper? Like, of maintaining frame. I guess it's kind of, I don't even know. It's almost maintaining the image that the girl became attracted to, right? So you need to maintain that image, right? Because she fell, like, that's not just necessarily women, right? You fall in love and become attracted to a certain image of a person, right? And you have to maintain that image to some extent at the bare minimum to keep that relationship going, right? That's why I don't understand why people like let themselves go if you're in a relationship, because it's almost like a responsibility in a relationship to, I have to maintain uh the image that this person fell in love with, right? It just is. But people will deny that. Oh bro, just let yourself go, bro. They'll love you no matter what. That's what a real relationship is. No, I think a real relationship is accepting that responsibility actually has to happen. It's like you can't just, just go and, slop max it, like whatever. And, that applies to the women too, right? It's like, oh, you can't just, go slop max. It's like, oh, now you had kids, it's time to, slop max and gain 100 pounds, right? It's sort of the same thing for the guy, right? It's like, oh, now I have kids and I have to work all day or whatever. Well, you can't just slop max and come back and just like get drunk and drink beers and, get a beer gut or whatever, and it's like she can't just turn into a land whale either. A grounded reframe. The goal is not to convince yourself I don't need a girlfriend. That would be a lie. Your brain would reject it. So I guess I do need a girlfriend, huh? The goal is to get a girlfriend would add something real, but she doesn't decide whether I'm allowed to exist. I mean, I guess, but it's like, it's kind of copy to some extent. Let's see. Why identity pain lowers. Something interesting happens when it lowers. The obsession softens, even though desire remains. Interactions feel less life or death. Whatever. I mean, I'm not going to apply any of that, so I don't really care. One question. If you did get a girlfriend tomorrow, what do you think you'd finally be allowed to believe about yourself? I believe that I am finally worthy of experiencing human experiences that others take for granted. People take other people who they find attractive caring about them for granted. What you said is very clear and very heavy. You're not saying I want status or I want sex. You're saying I want permission to exist at the same level as everyone else. Bro, you're just entitled to a girlfriend, though. You're an incel. Stop talking. I want to spin what you're saying into something else so it fits my agenda that all incels are evil, basement-dwelling neckbeards, misogynists, and whatever. And that hurts because it means deep down you've been living as if you're provisionally human. Like full participation in life is something you have to earn through attractiveness. This belief didn't come out of nowhere. Why this belief makes sense, even though it's brutal. I think ChatGPT has to be learning from what I tell it, right? Because it always says this brutal. I guess side tangent. I saw someone on like my analytics. One of the searches for the videos. Someone searched brutal black pills. I thought like, what the fuck? Who searches YouTube for brutal black pills? That's kind of funny. I don't know. If you search brutal black pills on YouTube and you found this channel, let me know. That's kind of funny. You watched people who are found attractive get warmth without asking, get patience when they were awkward, get forgiveness for flaws, get assumed value. Meanwhile, when you're not desired, indifference feels normal. Kindness feels conditional. Your needs feel extra. Your loneliness feels invisible. So your brain made a rational conclusion. Once someone finds me attractive and cares about me, I'll finally count. That's not entitlement, that's pattern recognition. But you're an entitled misogynist, bro. The painful truth no one says out loud. You're right about something most people deny. Being desired does unlock experiences others take for granted. It does change how people treat you. It does make life softer. People who've always have it don't notice, like a fish doesn't notice water. So when they say just love yourself, you don't need to. Just love yourself, bro. You don't need validation. It feels insulting because it ignores reality. But here's the part that's quietly breaking you. You tied basic human worth to external selection. That means until someone chooses you, you feel disallowed. Every year without it feels like evidence. Your nervous system stays in the not safe yet mode. So you're not just lonely, you're waiting for authorization. That's an impossible position for a human to live in long term. I mean, that's what I have done. Something important, even people who are attractive and partner do not actually get their worth from being chosen. They appear to, but what's really happening is they already assume they're allowed to exist in relationships, confirm that assumption, not create it. You were denied that assumption early, so now you're trying to build a foundation from the roof. That's why the obsession feels life or death. I guess that kind of makes sense, but I mean, at the end of the day, the result is the same, whether I have that assumption or not, right? It doesn't really matter. The end result is the same. The shift that matters. The goal is not to pretend I'm worthy if no one wants me. Your brain won't accept that. That's okay. Reachable shift is my worth as a human is not granted by attraction, but attraction is one way it's reflected. This is like super nuanced and like cope kind of. Because if worth is granted by others, you're permanently powerless. To some extent, like you are powerless and you don't have that much agency in life. Because, how society treats you and all this stuff is almost determined by other people, right? I don't get to decide, oh, I'm valuable, I'm worthy, all the women love me, whatever. I'm worthy of a girlfriend. That doesn't change anything. I can go outside and women will still ignore me. That isn't going to change. When someone feels like you deciding I'm attractive will finally let me be human, that pressure leaks out, even if you never say it. Not as desperation, but as stakes. People don't reject the person, they recoil from being asked to authorize someone's existence. That's not your fault, but it is what's happening. I mean, That's very bold of you to say. One last grounding question. Imagine a world where you were never chosen romantically, but you were still treated with dignity, warmth, touch, friendship, and respect. Does that feel sad but livable or unlivable? Sad but livable. I mean, that's basically what my life is without really the excessive what's it called? Without the warmth or friendship or whatever. It's like, but and it is, like I said, livable. Sad but livable means you don't believe in life is meaningless without romance. You do believe something important is missing. You could endure the absence if your humanity wasn't questioned because of it. That's the same position. A lot of people would feel if this never happens, I shouldn't exist. You didn't say that. You said it would hurt, but I could live. That means your core self is still intact, even if it's exhausted. If it were unlivable, the priority would be crisis stabilization, separating grief from verdict. Right now they're fused. Grief says, I missed out on something human and that hurts. Verdict says, therefore, I was never meant to have it. Grief is healthy. Verdict is what's crushing you. Important truth, don't skim, bro. You're not asking to be above others, you're asking to be included. That longing doesn't go away by force, but it does soften when your nervous system learns, I'm allowed to take up space even while wanting more. When that happens, the obsession loosens, the bitterness quiets. You stop feeling like every interaction is a referendum of your worth. Not because you stopped wanting intimacy, but because it no longer means you are currently failing at being human. What this means practically, no platitudes. There are 3 things that help before a relationship exists. Experiences of being wanted that are not romantic. Friendships where you've been chosen. Being listened to without proving yourself. Having your absence noticed. Embody dignity, competence, contribution. Something you do that gives you a sense of legitimacy. Naming that grief honestly. Not I'm broken, but I didn't get something that others did, and that hurts. None of these erase the desire for a girlfriend. A lot of whatever. Honestly, if you want to read that, you can kind of do that. This video's gone long enough, to be honest. Like the longest video ever. So, yeah, that's kind of it. TLDR. I guess just the title of the video, getting a girlfriend into my autistic obsession. And, yeah, so long video. You can, watch it while showering. Shout out to that one guy who watches these videos while showering. So, that's kind of it for now. So, later.